Hey, welcome back to the Gemini channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Gemini. Know that energy is fluid, rules could be reversed. Always interpret the message as it best resonates. Also know on this channel, I like to go deep, which means I look at everything, but we take more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, see how they play out as karmic themes. This will help you understand why the dynamic of your relationship is the way that it is, what you can do to shape shift your situation. The readings are psychic, but more with a therapy style to help you understand again why you are attracting people, situations, and experiences to you, and what you would need to do to create balance in your situation. If you don't understand, just follow along. Again, we will be looking at what your person did do and what they will do, and you'll be able to tell whether or not you resonate the same way with a regular tarot video. The only difference is we go deeper. We go into the why is your person acting the way that they are? Why are you attracting that person into your life? What can you do to create balance within the situation? And what are you supposed to do with the leftover energy? How are you going to transmute that negative energy? Because whenever we're dealing with shadows and spiritual blocks, it creates a lot of negative energy because it's frustrating. You're dealing with someone that's triggering you. And instead of them treating you with unconditional love, like a soulmate should, like someone that you feels like home when you first meet them, but they are acting like a lot of times like the home that you grew up in, which is not what you want it to feel like. So it's all about integration, learning how to see your situation differently so that you can handle your situation differently. And that expands consciousness because your shadows are any parts of yourself that you've detached from, where you've disassociated from. The integration process is to be able to see a different outcome, a different perception. And then with that leftover negative energy, it's to transmute it, and that's ground it. So you have to be able to see a different outcome in order to really have a spiritual block healed. A lot of people say, I've already learned that lesson, but you will continue to have to go through the experience until there is no more emotional charge. The emotional charge says that it's not fully healed. Now, you may have the awareness, but you haven't done anything with that negative energy. Remember, you are an energy being. You're down here in the physical plane to learn and to manifest. And you're supposed to be learning that you're not separate from unconditional love. And that happens through, again, seeing yourself through a different perceptions many times. But you integrate a spiritual lesson that gives you spiritual insight, which is what actually raises your vibration, because it's all about evolving back to your original energy, which is just unconditional love, because you are part of one, which is part of the divine, which is the universe. It's all the same energy. God, the universe, unconditional love. And that's what connects us all to each other. When we have spiritual blocks in the second chakra, then we don't feel connected. We don't feel connected to other people. We don't even feel connected to ourselves when we have a root chakra imbalance, which many times if we have a second chakra imbalance is because we have a first chakra imbalance. So it's to learn how to stay spiritually clean during these very spiritual times that we're living in right now. Spiritual war on consciousness. Again, wanting you to evolve into a fear-based consciousness. Now, if everyone can have different opinions, and you don't have to get along with everyone where you'd be best friends, but heaven on earth is that everyone lives in peace and in harmony, regardless of what their religious beliefs are, really, regardless of one's sexuality, regardless of outside appearances, that we're only looking at what goes on the inside. And because the kingdom of heaven's inside of you, if you can imagine it, you can create it. So again, if you can't imagine it, it's because you have a third eye and a crown chakra block, which again, that means all your chakras are imbalanced. All right, let's just jump right on in. And like I said, if you don't follow along, believe me, you will. I'm looking from the deck that I want to use right in front of my face. Well, that probably means something. You know, I kind of feel like you're connected to someone that the answers are right in front of their face. Their intuition is telling them, but they're ignoring them. Like they're looking straight at it. There's something called scared stupid. And it's because when a person has a spiritual block, it's because they have gone through an experience similar to what they're experiencing, and they're stuck in the perception that they lived, which they didn't like the outcome. It put them in a place of disempowerment. It put them in a place of fear. So I feel like you're connected to someone that the answers are right in front of their face, but they refuse to listen to them. They don't trust themselves. They're insecure. They're very codependent because they're insecure, is what I'm feeling. Now we're going to see what's going on here. We're going to see what is the word of the video. Now remember, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out, and it is the underlying energy that tells me why everyone's doing what they're doing. That's important when you're looking at shadows and spiritual blocks, because people create personas and illusions to make you perceive usually what a person isn't. You know, again, it's that they overcompensate in their actions. The word of the video is intolerance. Intolerance, closed-minded. And that is, again, I'm feeling like you're connected to someone that the answers are right in front of their face, but they're scared stupid. So they live safe. They're coming over from a survival perspective, which means what I see is what I know is what I believe, just the facts. And they're surrounded by people that are, again, pretty much supporting this about, again, their perceptions about love. I feel like this person knows that you're intolerant to their bullshit and they don't know how you're coming back. And you are. You've gotten to a place where you're like, you know what? My life is good. So if you're going to come in here, you better come in here showing me something of worth. You haven't given anything to this connection. And feel like this person knows that you're intolerant to it, to them holding back, to them sitting on the fence, to them not knowing how to handle the situation, to them being codependent and looking for answers outside of themselves, for them not knowing how to access their own intuition. This person is not a spiritual person. They're not emotionally intelligent, and them not being emotionally intelligent triggers you, where I feel like this is why you're intolerant. You're like, my life is good, but having you in my life is a constant trigger because you never show up. You never show up. The answers to our connection and who we are, because we're soulmates. This is what I feel like you feel, Gemini. We're soulmates. You know that. But instead, every chance you get, you're gonna just fuck it up. You're gonna get in your own way. You're gonna need to ask opinions. You're not gonna know how to handle it. You're gonna overthink, and in overthink, you don't do anything. You just stuck and scared. So again, I feel like you're intolerant to all of it at this point. Like you don't care. You don't care. You're like, I'm going out, I'm having fun, I'm going to be interactive in my life. You don't know how to show up for me. That doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and wait for you anymore. I feel like you come to a place finally, Gemini, where you're like, I'm moving on. I feel like it took you a long time to get to this place too. And this person played games. They held back, they held back, they held back, they held back, thinking that you were going to come towards them. This is what I feel. And what they see is they wasted a whole fucking load of time. And this is what you're intolerant to. Their insecurity, them holding back, them sitting on the fence, them not knowing how to handle you. And this person avoids you because it's, again, they know that you're going to confront them. They know you're going to confront them about their behavior, and they don't really have an answer because they look stupid. I was holding back because I didn't really want to change my behavior. So I thought that you were going to cave first. I, held out and gave to everyone else and tried to trigger you into believing that you were less than so that you would give me. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that. Now, this person is, I feel like, lashing out at people around them because it's like they know that they've ignored what their own intuition has been telling them this whole time. This person like deliberately pushes it to the edge. And again, there's a sense that you got tired. You're like, this person's draining and they're weary. It makes you weary. It makes you tired. It makes you, because it's like, you don't know. And I'm so baffled that you don't know how to act and you don't know how to treat me, that I feel like you overthink, Gemini, you overthink because you can't believe that this person is this stupid. And it's always like, that this person's not going to show up because they don't want to show you that they care. They don't want to show too much, so it's like this energy of I'm always disappointed and I'm always on edge because you do things for a reaction. You don't know how to have a conversation. Again, and now it's like there's a sense that this person's in denial. For a long time, they were in denial. I feel like they thought that you were playing a game, that you were holding back, trying to manipulate them, playing their game against them. So they were like, I could hold back, I could hold back. And now what they see is, again, for a long time, they wasted time, that they were in a denial, that they did anything wrong. And they were unwilling to face the truth because they didn't want to be rejected. There's a sense that they know that they blew this opportunity now, but they're almost like, well, maybe if I wait till the opportune moment. There is no opportune moment. The opportune moment was a long time ago. And that's how you feel. You're like, yeah, like, why now? All of a sudden you're waiting for the opportune moment. You already fucked up the connection. Because I feel like Gemini, you're like, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted being connected to someone that doesn't know how to treat me right. And it's like, yeah, they say that they care about me, but it's just one big disappointment. It's a lot of words. And partially, it's not because of anything except for this person gets overstimulated. They get stuck and stupid because they overthink, so they don't do anything. And it's a way of, again, like just holding back. Like this person needs to get out of their ego. You're tired because you're dealing with someone's big ego. That's why you're tired, Gemini. And then this person acts like a martyr for other people. It's like they'll avoid their life. They'll avoid what's going on in their relationship, their work, and they'll help other people, but they won't help themselves because they avoid having to feel. They avoid having to be transparent. They don't want to say one way or the other what's going on with them. They want to be able to come and go as they please. That's who this person is. That's why You're tired. You're like, I'm drained. I'm intolerant to you sitting on the fence. You like holding back from me. Like you're acting like you have something big. Like, what are you dangling a carrot? Acting like, oh, well, maybe I'll have it. Maybe I'll have it. Maybe I'll have it. Like maybe one day we'll be in a relationship. Maybe you'll have me one day. It's like this person's acting like they're all that in a bag of fucking chips. And it's like, it makes you tired. It makes you weary. It's always a letdown. It's like because you're dealing with someone's big fat ego. And it's what's actually it ruined the connection where you're like, I'm so intolerant to this. It's like I feel like how you have an intolerance to food sometimes, like if you eat like dairy, you're on the toilet with diarrhea like for the whole night. Well, that's kind of like you're intolerant to this, like it's making you sick. Because it's not a case that this person doesn't know. It's a case that they avoid. They'd rather be a martyr. Oh, look how I'm helping everybody else instead of like fix their own life. Understand, who are you being a martyr for? People that don't respect you, people that again already saw who you are. They don't like who you are, but as long as it looks better, as long as you're not giving and being transparent with a person that you really truly have feelings for. It's like it's almost like a mind fuck where you got to the point where you're like, I can't. It's making me sick. It's making you again angry, fierce. Like almost like you say to yourself, I'm not an aggressive person. But because this person doesn't understand, and I feel the need, I have to protect myself because emotionally they don't show up for me. Psychologically, they play head games because they don't want to communicate. They don't want to be transparent. They're sitting on the fence, holding back from me, acting like they're dangling a carrot from me. So now, of course, it's like I'm appearing aggressive, where it's like they're going to focus on that, on my fierceness instead of what they're doing. So again, it makes me weary. It makes me tired. It makes me drained. And so it's like, you're like, well, I'm walking away because if I don't walk away, I just feel as if I feel like I'll just fall apart. I feel as if like I'll like almost like you have to become like stone and almost like it feel like it's crumbling, like because this person's ego is so big. And that's the thing. This person built their life on a facade. They don't really let you into their life. But if you were to go into their life, you wouldn't like it much. That's why all the games, it takes a tremendous amount of energy to do all this, to sit on the fence the whole time and not live, but to strategize and manipulate, because that's what this person is doing. Where really, unfortunately, everything that this person creates crumbles to the ground. Everything that this person builds falls apart. And the reason why is because it's never built on truth. It's never built on trust. This person, again, creates facade. It's, again, I'm playing a game. They're not in the game. They're, again, dangling a carrot in front of you in hopes that you're gonna keep on trying to grab it. But it's, again, then that keeps your energy locked into their energy, and they're not giving you anything. So at this point, you're like it makes you drained, it makes you tired, and everything that this person builds, they're not really building anything. It's always going to crumble to the ground, everything. And I feel like your own being with this person after a while. You get your hopes up high, you get your hopes up high. You know, this person tells you a bunch of things and then they don't show up. So it's like rise up to come down. Rise up to come down. Like you just got tired of it. It's like I got tired of being let down. I got tired of every time this person could have came through for me to show me that they cared, to show me that to give me the respect that I deserve. They fucked it up. And that is what's disheartening. Yeah, and I feel like you've already done your grieving about this connection. Now this person's in a place of grieving. You're in a place of grieving because they thought that you were going to continue to like, you know, trying to grab the carrot. It's like that's not what happened. You got to the point where you're like, I'm done. I'm like you're sitting on the fucking fence acting like you're all that. It's like your ego is so big. You're so self-righteous that it's grossly out of balance. Like this person has a false sense of entitlement. Almost like at one point you tried to put this person's mind at ease. And I feel like they really know that you're a good catch. And so they didn't really feel like you were serious. And then they got off on the fact of what a great catch you are. So they had to like, you know, build their ego up but how they did it was they acted insecure, knowing you had feelings, but they needed to hear you say it. They needed to hear you. And I feel like you did do that. So then what this person like wants to keep it in this place where you have feelings for me, so I want to like eat up all the feelings and just not give anything. And eventually I'll give you, maybe one day. Like dangle that carrot. Again, where again you got to a point where you were like, fuck you. And I could see why you would be so angry, like fierce. Like this person knows. They're afraid to confront you because they know you have every right to act the way that you did. But they also know that if they confront you and you're like that you're going to tell them to go fuck themselves and that the relationship's going to be completely over forever. It's a done deal. And this person is like, doesn't really want to hear that. So they're holding back because of that. They, again, they know that you had expectations of this connection. They led you to believe that, you know, and all they did was disappoint. Every chance that this is really what it is. I felt disappointed and angry because my expectations were never met. And that was over any little thing. If it was a holiday, a birthday, a death, a special occasion, you showed no interest at all. You never showed up. You never showed up. It's like you purposely held back. And in that, you're like, fuck you, the intolerance of I'm not dealing with it anymore. And this person knows it. They know you don't want to have anything to do with them now. And the reason why is because at one point you were open. At one point you did tell them how you feel because again, they played that little game of being wounded. But then instead of them being appreciative and nurturing the connection, they shat all over it. And they're like, well, oh, good. Now you have all these feelings. Now I'm going to hold back and, ooh, let me bask in the feelings of how much you like me. And I didn't tell you how much I like you. So real immature behavior. And that's why they're grieving because they see like what an asshole they look like. And they also know that they wasted a lot of time being in denial. This is why you're like, I'm drained. You pushed it to a point that it's not, I can't really even see you any differently because of your manipulation. Like you became so engrossed with the manipulation instead of the connection that again, you ruined the connection and it turned me off. It turned me off. I got tired of you, that it affected our like any type of intimacy. It's like because all whatever your games of holding back from me. It's like, when meanwhile this person wanted intimacy. They thought that they were going to get intimacy too by not giving you anything. So they know that they sabotage this connection. They know why. They're not in a good place. They feel bad. You know, this person knew that they should have surrendered to the connection. They know that they should have surrendered, but instead what they did was there was a lot of resistance there. They know who you are. And that's why again, one of us is sad and angry and is creating an energetic match and frequency with the other. Stay conscious of this. So again, this person knows, again, that you're pissed off. And in that, it's kind of making them like angry, like, oh, I don't care. When meanwhile, they have every reason to care and they know it. So they're kind of like trying to pretend that they're not affected by the situation. They're like, you're mad. Well, now I'm mad. You don't want to talk to me. Now I'm mad. They're all salty because you don't want to talk to them because you're holding them accountable. They don't want to be held accountable. They thought that they were going to get special treatment. They thought that they were something special. It's like, and what you're telling them is, no, you're not all that. Yeah, like, I'm sorry. Oh, it says, see, our union energy needs clearing. Repeat this after me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I'm grateful for you. See, this person is grieving and they feel this now, but they know they fucked up the situation, that it needs clearing. And it's not going to be cleared until this person says those words. Until they say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I'm grateful for our connection. Until like that actually happens, where it's not just words, but they show you, this connection is not going to be able to be healed. And the longer that they hold back, the less of a chance they have to fix this connection. Because already their ego was so fucking big that they sabotaged the connection to the point that it created an intimacy issue. Intimacy is not just sex, it's trust. It's to be transparent. It's like, you don't feel safe around this person, and that automatically now would like obviously bleed into the physical contact, where this person likes to create attachments, where they will create all this trust issue, but then there'll be like all this lust, which is a trauma bond. So that's what they're used to. But it's, again, that's not who you are. This person thought that you were going to play along, again, that they were going to hold back, that you were going to snap out. I feel like you didn't snap out. You just walked the fuck away. And now this person is like, oh no, because it's triggering their abandonment issues. But they would have to come back and apologize. And like you said, the longer they take, I feel like you're going to be like, it's a no-go. You burnt this bridge a long time ago because you had many an opportunity to fix it, but you held back because you wanted to strategize. You don't really know what you want to do. You want to, again, have the upper hand. You want to, again, and that makes you not trust this person at all. You're like, I don't trust you because you play so many games. So many games. Yeah, like, again, like, it's ruining the relationship, okay? Like, because of the conflict, again, it's just going to be destruction, okay? A lot of trouble. Because this person is out of control. And really, the energy shift is the fact that you're like, I'm not playing this game. I walked away. You're going to play this game by yourself. I know who you are. You play games. And like, I don't see you the same way anymore. And really, It's triumph over evil, because this person like is not healed enough to really be in a relationship if they have to have the upper hand, if it's all about them manipulating and being on the fence to not have to apologize, so they don't have to be transparent, but they're going to try and get something from you without the equal give and take reciprocity. They're trying to like hide things. They're not going to be honest with what they really want, because they don't know what they want. They want to like test it as they go, knowing that that never works, knowing that no one would agree with that. This person knows you're over it. They thought that you were going to snap. They thought that you were going to like cave to them, and what they see is you're someone that they don't know. They don't know anything about you. Nothing about you, Gemini. Absolutely nothing. They thought that they were going to play games and hold back and dangle the carrot. Now you look at them like they're an asshole. And they know it. And that's why they're avoiding you, because they're like, oh, you're going to tell me to go fuck myself. So I don't really want to like, I'd rather stay away from you, because I don't want my mask to slip. I'm going to act like I don't really care. But this person cares. Trust me. They care. And we end off. Oh, wait. I'm gonna pull this card. We're gonna put it over the side, but I almost forgot. Why did you attract this person into your life? Like again, when it looks like this and you're like, yeah, why would God bring me someone like this into my life? What the fuck am I supposed to learn from this? Person deliberately tried to, like, again, antagonize. They held back, they held back, they held back. They gave to other people in front of you. What are you supposed to learn from that? What is that? Anchor. These are the inner child wound cards. Imagination. Trauma. Thing. Overwhelmed. So again, I feel like trauma, when you grew up in an environment and there was trauma, usually it's emotional trauma, psychological trauma. Could be some of you physical trauma, but the psychological and the emotional trauma plays out a lot of times as it later on. I mean, trauma that we've acquired in our childhood that isn't healed and integrated later on plays out as imbalances within our relationships. So again, this person tried to keep you overwhelmed. Again, tried to create trauma. Anchored to me, this is like father, son, almost like father and child, parent and child. And that is support. So no support creates trauma because it makes you very overwhelmed. However, you wind up going into your imagination when you're a child, because a child that survives thrives. And how does a child deal with trauma? They escape into their imagination. They go into the psychic realm. That's why they always say the child that survives thrives, because they're able to tap into that psychic realm. And that psychic realm allows you it to manifest easy, because if you can imagine it, you can create it. And so again, the trauma allows you to go into that space, and that's a form of escapism. And I feel like through that you found your voice. So to integrate the trauma, you attracted a person that tried to create trauma. So again, as a child, that's terrifying when your parent is not stable. And then the house is very overwhelming, obviously, for a child, because children aren't supposed to be parents. Creates a lot of fear. But like I said, in that, you were able to escape through your imagination. Your imagination is still very strong. So I feel like your imagination is the porthole to trying different things, investing more time into yourself, right? So I believe that you wound up doing that through finding your voice. So for some of you, some could have became singers, but some writing, some within their work. But again, they use their imagination to escape the trauma. So it's the same thing that, but you're seeing it from a different perception. And the different perception is, as a child, when we don't have support, like I said, it's overwhelming and it's terrifying and it creates a lot of trauma, right? Because we're feeling as if the world's not safe. We're feeling as if we're inadequate, mainly if we grow up in an environment where we're watching our parents feel as if they're inadequate. If our parents are not grounded, anchor is that, to be grounded, to be present, to be in the here and now, to be interactive in your child's life, because you need to be the anchor for your child. When that doesn't happen, the child spends more time up in their mind, in their imagination. Because again, they're not present. Children need to be taught how to be present, how to show up for themselves. School does part of that. But if a child is going through trauma at home, they are no longer present because they don't feel safe. If you're in a place of survival, you're not in the present moment. You're not in the now. You're too busy worrying about what might happen, what could happen, what did happen. So again, that creates a lot of overwhelming feelings, which again makes you even less grounded, which the antidote, again, is to be the anchor for yourself and to use your imagination doing so. And I believe it's through utilizing your voice somehow, whether that's maybe to be an influencer, maybe to be a coach, maybe to be a counselor, maybe to really be a singer, to be an entertainer, to again, in the Bible it says God created the world with its voice. You too can create the world with your voice. So it's the same thing. Your voice create your world. And that's what I believe you did. And you made a way where there was no way, just for you. And in that, that's why this person is, again, they're devastated because they never saw this playing out the way that it played out. But you're the one. You took your power back, the energy shift. You're not chasing them. Now, if they want you, they're going to have to chase you and put in double time. And this person knows it. Shining light, Spirit says. This is the antidote, the energy. Again, the transmutation energy, because we integrate the spiritual lesson by seeing a different perception. And now we need to transmute that negative energy. And we do so through shining light. My desire to improve myself, transform fear into strength. This person, again, showed you, look how powerful you are. You grew up in an environment where there was trauma because parent wasn't there, or there was an abusive parent psychologically or emotional, or you just had to grow up too fast. You came from a place of fear. You wouldn't feel safe. Well, Spirit says you can trust yourself. Transform fear into strength. I raise my thoughts above doubt and find faith in the goodness of the universe. I love and accept myself as a soul, and I discover the light that dwells within me. So again, remember, you had trauma. You are not your trauma. You're also not just your imagination. So you are energy. But when we're talking about the transmutation of energy, we're talking about taking that negative energy from being with a person that dangles a carrot and creates a lot of frustration and plays games, and again triggers you emotionally, plays games psychologically. You're taking all that frustration, all that energy, and you again transmuted it into again creating your world. That is what creates the anchor for you. That's what'll help keep you grounded. That's what helps you stay connected to the physical world, your physical body, all physical elements of the physical world. It's what creates support within health wise, because your root chakra is the chakra that's in charge of all major structures of the physical body, such as your skeleton system, your endocrine system, and your nervous system. So when a person has a root chakra imbalance, you always see autoimmune system problems, you see anxiety, you see depression, you see financial issues, you see emotional issues, psychological issues, you see addiction, you see a lot of imbalances, because it's not healthy for us to live in a place of survival. That's not why we're here. We're here to thrive. We're not here by mistake. We're here by God's grand design, that you get to be an expression of unconditional love by doing what you love. But it takes, you have to start in a place of faith. And sometimes we find that place from crawling out of trauma, right? And realizing what we deserve. And this is what you did. You passed the karmic test with this situation, Gemini, because you're like, I know what I deserve. This person didn't think that you knew what you deserved. They misjudged you. I'm going to leave that there. Gemini, you let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.